In this video, we're going to take a look at 4 different castings of the Lamborghini Diablo, in particular the Diablo SV, which was a car that was prominently featured in games like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and was introduced in 1995. SV stands for Super Veloce, and it was a rear-wheel drive version with 500 horsepower V12 and a 5-speed manual. So a really cool car, very expensive. They only made about 350 of them, and they can run $500,000 or more. So it's not a car you're going to see on the road very often, unless you're somewhere where it's very affluent or go to a car show. We have 4 different flavors of this car. We have the original 1995 Hot Wheels, and you can see this would have been a blue card variation. Has plastic wheels, and back then, even the standard cars were metal based, so they weren't all plastic like they are today. Nice metallic paint, but you can see just the standard Diablo variation. And it is a mainline, so you can see no decos for headlights, taillights, and things like that. Then we have the Diablo SV, which was recently introduced in 2025 as a new model as part of the Boulevard collection, so number 132. Much nicer casting, a lot more details. Again, no opening parts, but you get the metal base and the rubber wheels with the real riders. Then we have the Tomica. This is the Tomica Premium. Really cool model. It was introduced in, I think, about 2019. It features the opening scissor doors and headlights. And then the ultimate variation on this, which is the Microturbo one, which was introduced in 2025. This gives you opening engine with a removable engine and the opening headlights as well. So really high quality. If we jump into the specs, we'll start with the cheapest one. This would have been the mainline Hot Wheels, a blue card variation. I don't have the actual card, but this is really nice, original quality. Metallic paint, you can see much simpler, so no decals on the front and back. Standard plastic wheels that roll very smooth. Simple details on the bottom, but you don't have any additional pieces. And even the rear spoiler and the rear portion is just an extension of a plastic piece. So you can see it's just a one piece, no additional detailing, and basic interior in there. This would have been $1 back in the day. Today, for 2025, they introduced the Boulevard edition. So this would have come nice carded, as you can see here, number 132. So really nice card art. And you can see with this one, there were quite a few nice models in this one. It's a brand new casting for 2025, and you can see significantly better than the original one, much more proportional, and a lot more detail, so you can see decos on the front. In rear, so headlights, taillights, separate exhaust pieces coming off the base. You have the real riders as well, so rolls nice and smooth. No opening parts, but they actually did the side windows. And you have a plastic rear black spoiler. Then in between there, you have the $15 Tomica. So this one's actually discontinued now, but was their original one. They have a orange variation of this. It was number 15. So their premium line is not the high-end limited Neo Vintage they have today. There is one coming out of the standard Diablo. Those are about $50, but this one is about $15 in the US. You have to pay a little bit of a premium, especially buying in the US, but you can see it's a very nice casting, metal body, plastic base, and you get plastic wheels, but you do get really nice wheels on here. Full decos for the front and rear, opening headlight, and the coolest thing is the opening scissor doors, which is really cool to see at this scale. And then again, the ultimate model here would be the Microturbo one. This is $45, so quite a bit more expensive. Metal body, metal base, and the party trick here is you have a fully removable engine. So it's kind of a cool feature. It doesn't really make all that much sense. You're never going to really display it this way, but a very detailed engine that comes completely out of the opening engine bay. But a very nice model. It's limited edition to about 1,000. So if you're interested in this, it's still available on their website. If we look at the packaging, you can see the Hot Wheels, they come with the standard carded versions. The main line would have come with a blue card. The Premium Boulevard comes with really nice card art. You can see the other models here on the back. And again, this one's actually new for 2025. The Tomica comes in a nice box. I prefer the box over the carded version because you have to destroy the card, you can see, to get the car out. While the box version, it's very easy to put it back in there, not damage it. It comes in just basic plastic bag. You can see all these cars are licensed as well. So the Tomica even has the Lamborghini license on there and some safety information, but a very simple box. A little bit cheap, but obviously what you expect at the $15 price point. And then really the ultimate car is the Microturbo one. This comes in a very nice box, so it feels more like a cell phone box, thick cardboard, nice schematic on the rear, a licensed product as well. And then for this higher price, you expect this much fancier display as well. So you can see it is a branded microfiber cloth for cleaning. And then you get the acrylic display case. So there is a single screw holding it down, and you have the white bottom. And with this one, it actually comes with this cool Lamborghini tool as well. So this is a little, almost like a toothpick for opening some of the smaller parts that has the Lamborghini cutout on the side. And then you can see a very nice base with the white bottom and the Diablo branding on here. These are limited edition, but they don't show the actual numbered version on the plaque. Now if we jump into the comparison portion, so if we start with the paint jobs, you can see obviously the original Hot Wheels was metallic. So the real comparison here would be the newer Diablo SV. You can see the paint job's pretty good. It's nice yellow. It's a flat yellow, and you can see some color variation between the panels. And the Tomica, it's a different hue, so it's a little bit darker. And you can see with the Tomica, they didn't add the SV logos on there, even though it is an SV. That was an option. The nice thing about the Hot Wheels is that you can see it's very detailed. You have the taillights, headlights, all as decos. And you can see even some of the vents in here are colored in black. The Tomica doesn't have any coloring on there, so they have to spend more money on the opening parts. The front end does have the little detailing with the front vents, but then the Microturbo really blows them away with additional detailing and the actually inserted lights. So that'll be the big difference here. You can see Hot Wheels just paints it in, and then the Microturbo, for the much higher price, you can see has the acrylic inserts. Same thing with the taillights. At first glance, they look the same, but when you look closer, these have a depth to them that you can't really reproduce with just flat paint. The Tomica does have the taillight as well, but you can see it's pretty flat, just like the Hot Wheels. The Hot Wheels has better paint though, so it definitely looks a little bit better and brighter. The Microturbo one though really blows them away. You can see when I shine the light on here, the clear coat's much smoother. With the Hot Wheels, it's rougher. So you can see it's more textured, while the Microturbo is very flat. So much more like a real car paint job. So they definitely polished it more and put more time into the prep for the paint, which is again what you expect at this price point. The other thing to look at are the wheels. And you can see with Hot Wheels, you always get the more generic wheels. They don't really make bespoke wheels for each model. A little bit oversized, especially compared to the other models. And you can see they're just these generic 5 spokes on here with the polished lip and black interior. It actually does look good at first glance, but then when you look at the real car, you can see they have much more design to them, and these actually match the real car. So if you compare the Tomica and the Microturbo, they look much more realistic. You actually have brake calipers in the Microturbo, and then the Tomica doesn't have that, and the Hot Wheels does not have it. So definitely a difference between the price point, but even the Tomica I think really reproduces the wheel style much better. There are rubber wheels on the premium Hot Wheels. So you can see it's pretty much a slick, a little bit wider in the rear than the front, but it rolls very smooth and fast, as you would expect. The Tomica is plastic, and you can actually see it has this little raised edge, and that actually makes it roll very fast as it lifts it off, so you have less contact with the ground. So also a nice smooth roller, but plastic. And then you have the Microturbo, which is also rubber, and it is again a slick with a little bit wider on the rear, and it rolls just like a Hot Wheels. If we look at the sides of the car, you can also see it's a very dramatic car, so long and smooth wedge design with the mid-engine. The cool thing about the Hot Wheels, they actually did the side mirrors. They generally don't, and you can see this one's actually just part of the body. So it is actually metal, and there's a little black paint behind it. There is no sticker or anything for the reflective part. Tomica doesn't have anything, so they really, again, spend most of their money on the opening door. And then the Microturbo gives you this really small and delicate one with a little sticker on there for the reflective surface. So it looks much more realistic, but you have to be careful about not breaking this as it is very thin. The basic mainline Hot Wheels actually did have a side mirror as well, but it was molded in, and again, no real details, just a little nub sticking out. The big feature of the Tomica though is obviously the opening door, so these open up with scissor style door, and it's actually a really cool mechanism, so it doesn't look bulky, it's actually hidden behind there. The Microturbo and both of the Hot Wheels obviously do not open, so you just get nice panel gaps. Interior wise, it's really hard to see much on the inside. These cars were really basic, but you can see on the real car, you'd have a 3-spoke wheel in Europe. In the US, you would have had an airbag. Very basic console with a 5-speed gated interior. It's hard to see the one in the Microturbo, but if you look in this picture here, you can see there are gauges on the center console, but otherwise very basic. And in the actual car, it's very hard to see really inside it. The Tomica has the opening door, so you can actually see inside it. But you can see with the all black design, you can't really make out that much. So I'll insert a picture here, but it does have well-defined door, a little knob, but no actual decals or anything else. And you can see one side door doesn't really hold up that well, but it is cool that it opens. The Hot Wheels also has some basic definition in there, but very hard to see inside, and you can't really open it up because it's riveted together. The original one also had a multicolor one. It has some definition with the seats. The bolsters have some definition, but very basic steering wheel. Now if we go to the rear, that's a big difference between these. On the real car, you can see there's actually a gap between the bumper and the body. And they reproduced that in the Microturbo, and they reproduced that in Tomica. So you can see there actually is a gap for both of these models. So they produced either a separate piece that connects, or it's actually cut out. So really cool detail, and it gives you that much more realistic look. The Hot Wheels, they don't do that, but again, you wouldn't really notice that unless you actually looked at the photo. So the Hot Wheels, it's actually just one piece, and they just kind of filled in the gap. You do have this little edge on there, but it's not passed through like the real one. Again, the taillights are going to be the big giveaway here too. The Microturbo is just much nicer with the actual inserted ones that give you more three-dimensional depth. The other thing is the exhaust. So you had a quad exhaust on this car, and you can see, depending on the price point, you get more detailing. With the Tomica, it's very basic. So it is silver color, but it's actually molded in there. It's not even round, so it doesn't look that great. Hot Wheels actually did a really good job here. So you can see there is a separate piece that comes off the base, and it is fully round, and you have the silver on the outside and the black center, so it gives it some depth. So actually pretty impressive given the $7 price point. And then Microturbo obviously blows them away with this full-on separate piece that comes off the base with the hollow exhaust tips that look really good. Now as far as the engine, this had a V12 engine behind this little engine cover. If we look at the Tomica, they didn't paint the scoops, but you do have the scoops defined in the casting, and a little grill plastic insert where the vents would be. The Hot Wheels, they did paint the scoops, so you can see black paint, and then just black on that back portion, so it just looks like it's plastic. And then obviously the best one here is the Microturbo. So this isn't actually black, it is passed through, so you can see it opens up, the scoops are actually cut out, and you actually get an opening hood scoop with an opening and a little photo etched vent here. So very cool, you can actually see through that. And then the whole engine comes out, which is kind of a gimmick, I think. I don't know if it really adds that much, but nicely detailed V12, dual air intakes. You can see the exhaust pipes coming out, and that would have gone into the back. And really nice definition with the headers and the cylinder heads with the Lamborghini print on there. You can see with it out, you just have this big opening, and you can see there's actually a little pass-through on the bottom where the oil pan would stick out. So it's pretty cool when it's in there. You can see the oil pan, and you get really nice definition of the engine. So a very cool car, but obviously pay for that. So overall, it's a cool set of castings. You can see even the original $1 Hot Wheels captures the look and feel of the Diablo really well. The premium Boulevard series is a really nice model. You can see great paint job, and it's very easy to mistake for the Microturbo at first glance with all the painted details that make it look like you have opening parts. The big downside with Hot Wheels though is they are quite more expensive on the secondary market. So these are about $15. unless you found them on the shelf, you can be paying about double the original price. It's all painted details, and again, the wheels aren't realistic, but they do look good with the black inset and polished edge that mimics the real one. The Tomica is a cool one. It's about $15 too on the secondary market these days. And you get the opening part, which is really nice, but you don't get the SV graphics. So if you're just putting these on the wall, I think the Hot Wheels looks better with the brighter color and SV graphics. But the Tomica does give you the realistic wheels, opening parts like the headlight, and similar painted detail, but not quite as detailed as Hot Wheels, even though they cost the same today. And obviously the best model here, easy Microturbo one, but quite a bit more expensive, and you get everything from the badging to the really nice paint job, to the side mirrors, to individual exhaust pieces. So definitely a cool car. I still think the removable engine is kind of a gimmick, but just the opening door I think is really cool to see inside. So definitely some cool models to choose from. I would choose the one that matches your budget, and they all display very well.